Listen, when you are redeemed, you say, I do. You enter into a covenant relationship with Jesus Christ, which means everything changes for you. You are no longer, as you're a slave to Christ, as you were baptized, now you are married, you're in a relationship, you are in a covenant relationship, as you're in your marriage, there's a covenant relationship with Christ, you are in a covenant relationship, and you give up the freedom to say, I can do whatever I want to do with my money because it's my money. I can do whatever I want to do with my body because it's my body. No, it is not your body. It was bought at a price. It was created by Christ, and it was bought at a price by Christ. It is not your body to do whatever you want to do with it. It is not your money to do whatever you want to do with it. It is not your time to do whatever you want to do with it. It is not just, listen, I can live and do whatever I want to do. No, Paul says, you don't understand redemption. He's hitting it. He hit it again, and now he's hitting it again, repeating it over and over and over for a third time, because he says, I want Christians to understand, when you were redeemed, everything changed. And the law didn't die. But you died to the law as a burden that hangs around your neck that says you can't ever be right with God. You can't ever please him. You died to that, but the law's still alive, and now it's beautiful because, man, it shows you everything that God is and everything he desires you to become, and then he gives you the grace and empowers you to become. It's like this. Let's say that a woman is married to a very demanding and impossible man. Man, no matter what she does, she can never do anything to please that man. He is critical of everything she does, and she can't do anything to please him. She cooks as best she can, but the food is never good enough. She keeps the house as clean as she can, but he comes in, and the house is never clean enough. Man, she tries to look as good as she can, but no matter how good she looks, she can never look good enough. And he dies. She remarries. Law of marriage. He died. She remarries to a man who is loving and caring and good and life-giving. And now she still cooks. She still cleans. She still tries to look good for her husband. But now it's completely different. Before, it was a burden that drove her crazy because it was something that she never could do to please her husband. No matter how hard she tried, it was never there. I can't do anything good enough. I can't be good enough. I hate this. But now she does the same thing, and it's completely motivated out of joy because he gives me life, because he loves me, because he praises me, because he makes me into something that I always wanted to be, but I never have. The motivation is completely different. Do you see exactly what grace does? Many Christians look and they say, I can never do this. I'm giving up. I don't know. It's so impersonal. I can't please God. I can't be good enough to please God. God's got it in for me. I know I did this and he's displeased with me. Always. That's religion. That's what the enemy wants you to believe. Paul says grace, the grace of God lights your soul afire, and it gives you a passion to understand. Listen, I don't have to keep all this law to be right with God, but I want to keep it because he has transformed my soul. My old self died and was buried, and I've been raised. I'm a brand new person to live a brand new life. I am no longer a slave to a cruel sin as my master, slave master. I am a slave to Jesus Christ. I am no longer in a horrible relationship with a demanding, driving, life-sucking relationship that sucks the life out. I'm in a life-giving relationship. I died to that old, and now I'm under the grace of God that causes me to look at this law and say it's beautiful because the law reveals the lawgiver, and I want to be like that. You can't just do anything you want to do, because when you say I do, you say I always will. That's what Paul's hit in three illustrations to help believers understand. Listen, you need to understand who you are so you can be who you are. Right? You need to understand who you are so you can be who you are. And so, Christian, I challenge you, if you're a believer, I challenge you to examine yourself. And you're never going to be sinless. Don't buy into that. You're never going to be sinless. And what a lot of Christians do is they don't believe in works per se for salvation, but they believe God saved me by grace, but then I have to sort of kick in and I have to do my part to make God pleased and happy. Listen, what you need to understand is it is all grace. God gives you grace for salvation. It's grace for sanctification. And what I would encourage you as a believer to understand is you'll never be sinless. But do you sin less because you love God more? Do you understand justification and redemption? And do you understand who you were and who God is and who you are because of who he is and what he did? And if so, then you understand, man, I want to honor him. I want to please him. I want to live to bring glory to his name. I want to be with God's people. I want to give. I want to honor him in my relationship with my wife. I want to honor him in my relationship with my kids. I want to honor him in my relationships and my integrity at work. I want to honor him in all I do because of what he's done. If you're not a believer, we want to talk to you about that. We would love to help you to understand how you can be set free like you've never been experienced freedom before. How you can look at God not as some cruel lawgiver that's looking at everything you do, trying to catch you in something, but as someone who loves you and wants to breathe life into your soul and set you free from that burden.